So welcome back. My name is Bruno Flavin. I've just written an article or a post on my blog that follow this very first one, which is the importance of labeling process. This time I was wondering, okay, I've been tinkering some NLP models, existing learning models with Spacy, for instance, and I was wondering how can I expose this machine learning model. So through FastAPI, so I've just make a lot of not very much investigation. I just make a quick comparison between Django Flask and FastAPI and find that FastAPI was what I was looking for. So if you want to read the article, you can read the article, but we can start directly with some project that are already on my GitHub account, so you can check right here. So let's dive directly. So I will go through this walkthrough. So the very first one, that was this 17 project. I helped myself with ChatGPT to write down this. So we are here, okay. And then I'm using Anaconda to manage my environment. So this Anaconda is here. So if I check, I have a specific one. I give the requirement down here so you can have exactly the same environment as me. And then let me see, how can you, yeah, you have this. Just to check, it's existing. So I'm gonna select this one. Okay, and then everything is in comment inside the file, and then I need to launch. So I'm relying on FastAPI. This is it. So for those who doesn't know, it's really easy. Then you have a unicorn that's gonna launch this file. So that's why you have NLP underscore API dash or hyphen, I can't remember, I think it's hyphen maybe, and then app, because it's declared right here as app. Okay, right here. So this has been written by ChatGPT, but there's some also, I made some insertion from some other project that are all here anyway. So let's start. Yeah, so I would put it here. Then you will have it in the walkthrough. Let's do that also. Launch the env and then go to the dir. So you will have exactly the same command. So you have just to download my own GitHub account. I know I should remove maybe from this big directory, but anyway, it's still here. Sorry, it's here, and then you go and blog, and then you look for FastAPI, and you have all these directories. Okay, so I clear my console, and I launch this API. I've made a quick demo. So we are in nerd service, so we have everything that we need, and it's gonna launch this URL. It's gonna launch FastAPI, and then you will access on the local host, meaning this one. So I can already get there, and it's working. You see, Open API. So I made a quick description, whatever. So basically, I'm working for a company where you have a lot of language. So that the reason why I've made some attempt, for instance, let's say in Spanish. So I want to have extract keyword in Spanish, and then I only have to select. I'm typing the text, I'm selecting the language, and then is extracting the things inside. So it's not the performance, it's the easiest way. I mean, this is the quickest way I found to make this available, because I wanted to be sure that FastAPI can make, it was a POC, so I wanted to be sure that FastAPI can handle very quickly such a thing. and then I know that my keywords function sucks a little bit, but anyway, this is what you have here. I've taken from a previous script. Anyway, and then you can also use it. For instance, let's take Russian. So if you type Spanish into Russian, it won't work. The idea is that I've taken from the site I'm working with this Russian stuff, and then exactly is doing the things. So that's really a POC. I mean, a point, proof of concept, sorry, and not a point of interest, but it's still interesting, where you can grab very quickly and jolt some web service. For instance, if you need to make some custom NERs, so for instance, that's exactly what I've done in my previous post. So I wanted to have an entrance or endpoint. That's what we call endpoints for a custom NER. This is the NER made by, for instance, I'm only leveraging on the one existing on Spacy. So let's take the French this time. And you see, he's going to parse the text and find regularly Kim Jong, which is a person, Vladimir Putin, which is a person, Moscow, which is a localization, etc. Russia, Russie, which is a localization, and so on and so on. So basically, you have already a few things available, and you can even think about putting this in production if you need to. Like I show in this stuff, I've made a quick basic workflow. You can implement whatever you want as a model. So I've worked on Spacy, but I've also worked on some other, and then you have Spacy, and then you can have a front end, meaning that you can work on React, Vue, or even Streamlit. It's gonna be the second. I'm gonna make the second demonstration, the second video of the tutorial. That's the very first one, and the second one, the last one, sorry. Or maybe I can start with the second one. So let's say it will be the second one as I've made. So this time I will show you just more things. You can, for instance, you can think of having, this is NLT key. So for instance, you can work on similarity. So this time it's only in English. So I would say there's a lot of similarity between the word and horse and donkey. Okay, if I click, yeah, it gave me 65%, which means it's quite similar. If I take cat, let's say cat, I think cat, it's more fart, it's only 40. So that means that this is not really interesting for a text, but that means that you can leverage on, if you create the endpoint, you can do whatever you want and deploy any machine learning behind. For instance, this one is pretty funny. I've taken, and I think that comes from this project. So I've just grabbed the function from this project and put it into my project that was that have been made almost by ChatGPT. Anyway, so the top to speech, sorry. So let's say I take this little phrase, little sentence in English, but you have to know that for instance, it's just a POC, so it's only in English, but you can also extend it and make it in another language. So it's going to transform this text into MP3, so it doesn't work properly. So you just have right here the audio. You can listen to it. So we're going to see if it's correspond to what I've copied. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. That's exactly the conversion that I want, even though the voice is a bit robotic. Anyway, so that's enough for this video. I don't really explain, so you just hit Control C to cut it out. I don't really explain the code because then you have a lot of documentation. But what I can tell you from my point of view is that FastAPI, even though it takes me, let's say, 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, maybe 1 week, to understand and to explore how to use FastAPI, and it's pretty powerful. It's very straightforward, and you can rely on real developer because I'm just a product owner. But I wanted to be sure that these kind of tools, and apparently it is, can help you out to jot quickly a poke and then forecast to create a real fast API or a real API to show your machine learning model. So let's jump directly to the second video. That will be how to connect, like I show you, how to connect our FastAPI, for instance, with a Streamlight application. So that's the project number 9. That was an article from Medium. So see you in a minute then. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.